and welcome. This is the Chops review of the Icon variant helmet. Now I've had this helmet now for about 3 or 4 weeks, so I've given it a bit of a test, bit of a play with it. Overall feedback is it's very good. So first of all, let's talk through a few little points with the helmet. First of all, the styling. Now the reason I went for this helmet is because I ride a supermoto as well as a sports bike. So I've got an X-Lite carbon helmet as my sports bike helmet, but it didn't look right on the supermoto, so I wanted one of these sort of dual sport helmets. Now I also do the old vlogging like a lot of people now, so I needed a bit of room to actually get the mic inside the helmet. And the thing about these is you've got a massive chin area here, so there's plenty of room to mount a mic inside of here. And you've also got the closing visor, so that was my requirements really: a closing visor and a helmet with a big enough, space for a mic, and also sort of the dual sport motocrossy type look. And the variant sort of meets all those requirements really. Now you have this sun visor on top of the helmet. I presume it's a sun visor. It doesn't come forward enough to actually act as a sun visor though. I think it's more of a styling piece as opposed to a functional piece. What it does do very well is actually direct some good airflow into the helmet, in through the vents. We've got vents at the top here and vents further at the top, right on the top of the helmet, and this visor, for want of a better word, actually does direct air into there. And there's also exhaust ports on the back of the helmet here, which act as, again, cause a vacuum to actually pull air through the helmet. So it's an incredibly well plus additional vents at the bottom, so it's an incredibly well vented helmet, and you don't get too hot in it. You've also got other vents at the front here on the outside, and also on the inside there's little vents on little opening flaps on the inside. It also has ventilation running up underneath the visor here. There's a little vents coming up inside, so when the visor's closed, that is blowing up just on the inside of the visor, which is handy. I mean, that keeps the visor. It's probably one of the reasons why it doesn't fog up too much, because of that. Even with that peak, it doesn't put too much drag on your head. If you look up while you're riding it, obviously it will catch the air, but if you're just riding normally looking ahead, it doesn't sort of tend to drag too much. It does create a little bit of wind noise, much more so than at the road bike helmet. And I wouldn't want to sort of use this if you're doing a lot of work sort of over at 70 miles an hour or over, because it is quite noisy. I think because of that peak creates a lot of noise, but it doesn't drag perhaps as much as you would have thought. Other points on the sort of aesthetics: it has, it's a very styled helmet. It's a nice looking helmet. It's a large helmet. It's very big, and this is like the carbon sort of Kevlar. You can actually see the weave of like the carbon on top, but it's sort of an unfinished. And what I can actually say in the instructions is they actually say you will see blemishes in this, because it's all individually made. They're all individual helmets and all this, just to try and cover themselves. But you can see right through on this particular one. Fairly light helmet considering it's got the peak and everything, and it's large. It's still fairly light. The lining is very nice. It has this hydro dry lining which is supposed to absorb sweat or whatever. Not really noticed it being particularly good. I think it's sort of only on par with other helmets in this sort of price range really. A good quality lining, but it's fully washable, so you can take that out completely and wash that without any problems. And you've got the normal type D-ring fastening mechanism with the little popper to pop it onto, which works very well, and it is even fairly easy to pop that on when you've got your gloves on as well. Also, it's a really nice chin strap. Comes right in. Again, great if you're doing if you've got a microphone in there. Creates a nice little place where you don't get too much wind noise. Regarding the visor, it's got it doesn't have a pin lock in it, but it has like a treatment done to the inside to stop it steaming up, and I've not noticed any issues with steaming on it. And I've been out sort of in very foggy conditions, sort of hot sweaty work, sort of off-road a little bit, and no problems with any steaming up. So that whatever sort of coating they've got on that, it does work very well. To change the visor is a pain because it all mounts underneath the peak, so you have to pop off. There's little poppers on here. You pop these off and then there's like a screw which basically screws that on, and it clips in as well. So it is a bit of faffing involved to change the visor over. So I'm probably just going to leave the dark tint on there now. But yeah, you know, you're popping plastic clips and stuff, so there's a chance that you might damage them. It also comes with a little key, a special key to undo that, like a little tiny key to get that screw out, but a normal screwdriver can do it. You don't have to worry about that. My biggest gripe about this helmet, well not really a gripe, but the biggest problem I'm facing at the moment is because it's this sort of carbon Kevlar-y type shell, which is obviously very, very rigid. I'm finding it really hard to get the helmet on and off, because this is a medium, this is a large, and when I'm wearing it, it fits me absolutely fine. But when I'm getting it on and off, because of the shape of it, it sort of comes in quite a lot around the bottom of your neck, and normally you'd sort of pull the helmet apart a little bit like that when you put it on and off, but because it's so rigid, it doesn't give much, and it's really, really tight to pull the helmet off your head. Now, I've not seen many other people bring this up as an issue with it. Maybe I've got a really funny shaped head, but I find it really tight taking it off, especially tight getting it, not too bad getting it on, but getting it off can be very tight, and you've really got to pull quite hard to try and stretch the shell to actually get it off your head and with your nose intact. It is, and that catches your nose. I've got quite a big nose, so that catches your nose as well as you're taking it on and off. So taking it off is not particularly easy. All the lining comes out, it's all completely removable to be washed, which is really nice. Also makes it easy to fit any sort of intercom kicks. You can take all that lining out, run your wires behind it, and then clip it all back in. So that's a really nice feature. So there we are, the Icon variant. A good helmet, if you want a dual sport helmet, which is light, fairly quiet, you know, really good sort of optics from the inside, very good visibility from it, superb ventilation. Like I say, the only bad point I've found so far is the how tight it is taking it off. So because of that rigid shell, there really isn't much give in it, but it has improved slightly since I've had it, so I'm hoping over time that will improve. But it's something to watch out for, and I think it's definitely one of those helmets you really need to try on before you buy it. So perhaps not something which is ideally suited to buying mail order because of that funny sort of fit taking it on and off. So worth trying one in a shop if you can find one. And also there's some deals on these online where they're throwing in the visors for these, the aftermarket visors, because they do not only the dark tint, they do some like yellow and yellow reflective, some quite cool finishes on the visors, but they're not particularly cheap. They are quite expensive, the visors, and I haven't seen any company which makes any sort of aftermarket ones. You have to buy the Icon ones, which are quite pricey. So if you shop around, you can get some with the dark visor thrown in with the helmet. So do some shopping, look for those bargains, and get both the visors, because the visors are expensive to buy separately. But there we go, the Icon variant, a very good helmet. I've also got some other reviews online, so if you enjoyed this, subscribe. Thanks very much.